We have a president who addresses the nation like the Zodiac killer on Easter Sunday. Trump right now is suing 60 Minutes and CBS because he didn't like the way they edited an interview with Kamala Harris, as if it matters.
For years, Jimmy Kimmel has turned Trump's wildest moments into punchlines that sting harder than most headlines, and somehow it just keeps getting worse. One moment Trump is calling for CBS to be terminated, the next he's forgetting JD Vance's wife's name, while ignoring everything else falling apart. Kimmel's been there for all of it, and every time the roast cuts a little deeper. So how far did Jimmy really go? And why does it seem like Trump can't take the joke? Well, let's uncover it all. You see, Jimmy Kimmel didn't just start mocking Trump when he became president. He saw the storm coming long before anyone else took it seriously. In fact, Kimmel once sat across from Trump back in 2007 during his Apprentice days, and what started as a regular late-night interview turned into a full-circle warning from the future. Kimmel actually brought his 2020 self into that same interview through a skit, confronting his younger self about the man sitting beside him, the one who'd eventually lead the country.
To your right is a threat to humanity. Uncle Frank is a threat to humanity? No, hi, Uncle Frank. We miss you. He can't hear you. Keep up the good work, Uncle Frank. He says you're a threat to humanity. No, not Uncle Frank. Donald Trump, the future president of the United States. Come on. This guy is president of the United States?
And Miss USA, as you know, is like the big deal. And now, and we just lost another contestant today. She got pregnant. You heard about Miss New Jersey got pregnant.
That cannot be the president of the United States.
Kimmel's been loud about Trump's presidency from the jump. When Trump hit 100 days in office, Kimmel called it historic, not because of any success, but because the approval numbers were already the worst ever recorded at that point in a presidency. He even gave Trump a report card grade that couldn't be confused with anything positive.
Trump's first 100 days are great, but if I had to, I'd say it falls somewhere between F and U.
Let's go back to that moment, the exact way Jimmy described it on air. Kimmel didn't hold back. He dragged Trump's press team, mocked his obsession with fake achievements like banning paper straws, and clowned his brag about ending the penny as if it were a global policy win. Then came the list of achievements that included things like building a Dogecoin reserve and training Eric Trump. And yes, that was said on live TV. After roasting Trump's record, he moved on to the people defending it. One of them was Senator John Kennedy, who gave such a strange metaphor it deserved to be replayed more than once. Here's what Kimmel did with that.
It's hard to find the honey and the rock and the water and the stone in 100 days. But having said that, I think President Trump's done some things right.
No, I'll tell you, Mother Goose is in trouble if Grandpa Trump hears that.
Even the economy became a punchline. Kimmel pointed out how Trump bragged about winning golf tournaments while the markets were falling and eggs were somehow getting too cheap. Every moment Trump tried to present as a win, Jimmy flipped it inside out with real numbers and even sharper jokes. And when Trump tried to spin tariffs as a gift to Americans, Kimmel explained how Amazon's plan to show customers the added costs from those tariffs sent Trump into full meltdown mode, even calling up Jeff Bezos to scream about it.
Demanding they put his name on them. I demand they put his name on them. Unfortunately, after speaking with Trump, Bezos folded faster than an Amazon Basics umbrella, and that will not happen now.
It didn't stop at the economy or the polls. Kimmel even went beyond the desk, using skits, fake commercials, and old interview footage to show just how deep Trump's contradictions go. From the very first 100 days, Kimmel made one thing clear. He wasn't just cracking jokes. He was keeping receipts. Then came Easter Sunday. But before we get into it, if you're enjoying so far, please like the video and subscribe for more videos like this. Now, moving on. For Trump, Easter Sunday turned into a PR disaster layered with religion, insults, and golf. It started with a rare moment of calm, a message that sounded surprisingly respectful. He wished everyone a happy Easter and mentioned the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The tone lasted about 6 minutes. Then this came next, just moments after that calm message.
This is nice, but then 6 minutes later, happy Easter to all, including the radical left lunatics who are fighting and scheming so hard to bring murderers, drug lords, dangerous prisoners, the mentally insane, and well-known MS-13 gang members and wife beaters back into our country, and so on. It's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde your tax returns.
That flippin' tone led Kimmel to call it a full-on Zodiac Killer-style message. Then came the moment that caught everyone off guard. Pope Francis, who had delivered Easter Mass just hours earlier, passed away the next morning. He had one last visitor before that, JD Vance, now Trump's vice president. Here's how Jimmy reacted to that awkward meeting.
Holy Father, do you have any last wishes? Well, not this. Not this. Nada.
Trump used the moment to step into the spotlight again. He announced he'd ordered flags across the country to fly at half-mast. Then he added something strange. According to him, Pope Francis loved hats and loved the world, which he repeated a couple of times during his speech. Then came one of the most confusing Easter speeches ever. Trump stood next to the Easter Bunny and delivered what he called a message about honoring Jesus. He said religion was coming back to America and pointed to rising religion numbers as proof. The part that stood out most was that he didn't actually go to church. Kimmel didn't let that slide.
Trump spent his Easter praising Jesus on the golf course. He's never closer to God than when he's out there on the grass cheating at golf.
Kimmel's team didn't miss a beat. They mixed Trump's religious claims with his obsession with showmanship. Melania, JD Vance, and the Easter Bunny were all lined up at the White House egg roll, while Trump threw out lines like "enjoy your lives" and promised a great 4 years. Then Jimmy closed out the whole Easter section with this warning.
Happy Easter and enjoy your lives. We're going to have a great 4 years. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
That's right. Enjoy your lives. Or I'll send JD Vance to meet you and end them.
Easter came and went, but the contradictions were loud. From praising God to avoiding Mass, from calm blessings to calling out the radical left, it all came together in one weekend. But that wasn't as fascinating as the Signal scandal. Most group chats are just memes, birthday reminders, and people forgetting to mute. The one involving Trump's national security team had something else: secret military plans. And somehow, a reporter from The Atlantic got added to that thread by accident. Kimmel called it a confederacy of dunces, and the details proved him right. The group included Trump's vice president JD Vance, Pete Hegseth, the CIA director, Secretary of State, and others. They were using Signal, an app not even approved for secure government chats. And one of them was texting from inside Russia. Kimmel opened with one of the best lines you could give in this situation.
But I'll be honest, I can't help it. I'm enjoying it right now. This week in the race between dumb and evil, dumb's in the lead. Dumb has a big lead.
Pete Hegseth was right in the middle of it. Instead of owning up to the leak, he blamed the reporter. Then he went on TV and called the journalists deceitful and accused them of spreading hoaxes. The deflection was clear, especially since The Atlantic had already published the text, with Pete's name all over them. Kimmel played both sides of that moment. Here's what he showed.
Given you were privy to this group chat, is that how you saw it?
No, that's a lie. He was texting war plans.
I don't know whether there's any debate about this. I mean, we have the text.
Even Marco Rubio, who once called unsecured communications inexcusable, had nothing to say when reporters asked about the Signal scandal. He walked off with a quiet, "I don't have time to chat," as if the topic wasn't worth addressing anymore. JD Vance, on the other hand, had his own moment in the texts. He said he didn't agree with Trump's plan to bomb Houthi rebels and said it didn't line up with Trump's stance on Europe. A few messages later, he changed his mind and said, "Let's go ahead and do it." The shift happened right there in the group chat. The conversation kept spiraling. At one point, Trump sent JD Vance's wife to Greenland. No one really explained why. When Trump was asked about it, he forgot her name and ended up calling her a very nice woman who loved the concept of Greenland. Kimmel caught that response word for word.
She's a brilliant woman. She's a very nice woman. And she loves the concept of Greenland.
Yeah, well, you know, who doesn't? She loves the concept of Greenland. I've always said that about her. Whatever her name is, she loves the concept of Greenland.
To distract from all of it, JD Vance later said he'd go to Greenland too. Kimmel joked that it was less about showing support and more about trying to get far away from the mess. The headlines kept piling up, but Trump didn't fire anyone. According to Kimmel, he used to fire people for less, including Meatloaf. The group chat leak wasn't just embarrassing, it showed how casually they were treating national security. The texts were real, the names were confirmed, and the timeline was backed up by published reports. Then we have another interesting part. You see, Trump has called himself a defender of free speech for years. The problem is, his version of free speech only works when no one's criticizing him. When 60 Minutes aired an interview he didn't like, he filed a $20 billion lawsuit and demanded CBS be terminated and stripped of its broadcast license. Yes, a former president tried to shut down one of the oldest news programs on TV. Kimmel explained what that move actually meant, and how it wasn't just legal nonsense. It directly impacted the newsroom. 60 Minutes executive producer Bill Owens resigned and said the political pressure was getting in the way of real journalism. Then came Kimmel's twist on how 60 Minutes might look under Trump's version of balance.
I'm Chuck Norris.
I'm God, Guns, and Gary, 36.
I'm the guy who Lauren Boebert gave a hand to in the theater.
I'm Scott Pelley. And I'm the QAnon shaman. These stories and more tonight on 60 Minutes.
Well, you know what? Finally, a mainstream media news program with some balance.
Kimmel used satire to show how absurd it is to call for censorship while constantly claiming to protect speech. And he didn't stop with Trump. Elon Musk got dragged into it too. Musk had spent months talking about defending freedom online, but then blocked critics and backed away from Dogecoin while his companies were losing money. Tesla's profits dropped 71% in the first 3 months of the year. Kimmel said Elon wanted out of politics and into family time, then reminded everyone Elon has 10 kids. He called him White Kanye and said stepping away wouldn't help Tesla recover because people simply didn't like him anymore. Kimmel broke it down like this.
What he needs to do is sell Tesla to someone more likable, like chlamydia or AIDS.
Trump and Musk had something else in common. Both were caught going after critics while claiming to protect freedom. Trump's lawsuit against CBS came while his allies were pressuring regulators not to approve a major deal, the sale of Paramount. That's where the $20 billion lawsuit became more than a headline. Trump had enough influence to interfere with media ownership. Kimmel tied it all together. He showed that when Trump says free speech, it's not about open dialogue, it's about control. That episode wasn't filled with theories or exaggerations. Every piece of it came from court filings, news reports, and real resignations inside CBS. The jokes just gave it all a spotlight. So after everything we've seen, from flagpoles to leaked war plans and Easter meltdowns, here's the real question. If Jimmy Kimmel ever stopped roasting Trump, would Trump still know how to speak in full sentences? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you loved this video, check out our next one on the screen.